Hi everyone, this is Lady T with your Sagittarius Boo Boo the Fool reading for June 2022. So let me explain what I mean by Boo Boo the Fool. When I was growing up, if you recall Boo Boo the Fool, it was because you were acting foolish, you were doing silly things, and nobody wanted to be equated with Boo Boo the Fool. But I don't know, I just decided to add that to the reading for some reason because I kept picturing the fool energy. But I wanted to put a little spin on this Boo Boo the Fool. This is not someone who doesn't know what they're doing. This is someone who's lived life and they've gotten lessons from it. They understand some things, and they want to get back to their authentic self, and they want to manifest the dreams, hopes, and desires that they have for their life. And they understand that that's what they want to do. And so they're willing to take the risk, they're willing to do the work, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and talk about your tarot cards first. Center energy is union. And this isn't union with someone else. This is union within you. And coming into balance because you've made a judgment, that something needs to change. You need to change. And so therefore, you're putting that plan into action. One of the things you want to do, though, is you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of rest. And also, the Four of Swords to me is also a healing card, too. So based on some of your other messages, you may need to rest and heal at this time as well. Because what led up to this is the change card here with the Two of Discs, and then also the Death card. So an ending of some sort, which is leading to this change. And then using your strength to move forward, and overcoming your fear, because you're just really relying on yourself. You're pulling from your own reservoir at this time to step into your power and use your strength to move forward. And that's another reason why that rest card came out, because you are using the energy within you to stand tall, stand in your power, be creative, passionate, and move forward in a fearless kind of way. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about your received messages. The first one is return to yourself. I am willing to discover how to receive my fulfillment by always returning to myself. And I get a couple of things with that. One is always being your authentic self. When you are always walking in your own authenticity, there's nothing to return to. But oftentimes we all get caught up in not being authentic for whatever reason. We're putting on a mask, we're trying to people please, whatever the reason. And so we don't stand in our authenticity, and then we have to continually come back to self. The other thing that I'm getting with that is grounding, making sure that you are spending time in nature, meditation, listening to music that really puts you in a calm state, and then also spending some quiet time so that you can connect with spirit, so that you can get the messages that they're trying to give you. And also, union is also about the spiritual relationship between you, your divine self, and spirit. So that's another aspect of the union that they're speaking of here. Now, we've got receive space. I'm willing to joyfully receive space for me. And that's about having boundaries. That's about taking time to find joy. And that's about doing what you need to do to maintain that joy and your space. And also that means boundaries if you need to put them up. Because you don't want people invading your space. You don't want people overstepping your boundaries. If you tell people, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, then you make sure that they do X, Y, and Z, and that they respect your space. Receive your value. I'm willing to believe that my needs and wants are good and valuable. Yes, they are, because you are valuable. So once you come into alignment with the thinking of you are valuable, you are enough, you are confident, you are a wonderful person, a wonderful, unique human being put on this planet to give back to the world, you start to see yourself a little differently. But we all have to come to that space and place to believe that. And that requires several things in action. And we'll continue to talk about that as we go through your reading. Receive time. I'm willing to have time expand for me. And that's really about appreciating time as it is, because time expands when we stop thinking we're out of time. Receive attention. I'm willing to receive loving attention in expected and unexpected ways. And so this is to meet your needs. I mean, really, being around people that love you, that support you, that you can have fun with, and receiving the loving attention that you need. And also being open to receive it from perfect strangers, even. Receive freedom and from nature, because if you're outside, you will be surprised that you have all kinds of nature animals that will also be loving and give you attention in that way too. Receive freedom. I'm willing to savor my freedom by always returning to myself. Again, a second message of being your authentic self, and staying your authentic self. It's hard to do, because in this world we wear a lot of masks. We are not our authentic self because we're trying to please people. We're trying to make sure we don't disappoint anybody, that kind of thing. But when you are being authentic, then there's nothing to return to, because you never left yourself. Okay, so let's talk about your abundance cards here. We have right now. Stay in the present and don't get too far ahead of the flow. You'll soon trust that nothing more will come than can be handled at each moment. So one step at a time, staying in the present, not worrying about the future, not thinking about the past, just staying in the now. Love, divine source, is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation, only love itself. And as we're, talking about love, really, when you step into love and you have the divine love as you approach life, things become so much easier, because you're not caught up into what people say and do so much, because you understand that everybody's on their own journey, and so you look at life so differently. Now you have grief here. Tears are what happens when the ice in the heart melts, and so your heart chakra could be opening. But you've gone through a death over here, so you've gone through some kind of experience that caused change. And that usually isn't a fun time, right? It's usually a time that may hurt. And so nurture yourself, rest, really do what's needed to take care of you. Okay. You've got signs next. Instincts are the message from the inner divine. So trust your instincts. Pay attention to any kind of signs you're getting right now, whether that be from animals, whether that be from your intuition. Just really hone in and have a more connected experience with the divine, because in doing so, your intuition is going to become stronger. Your instincts are going to become stronger. But if you're never quiet, you won't ever hear them. The next card is surrender. Sometimes learning to surrender can feel as if you're dying, and that's where the grief is coming in here, right? The ego learns what's hardest, to stop trying to control the whole universe, because you can't control the universe. You can barely control yourself, if we really want to look at it like that, right? So we all have to understand what the ego was meant to do from the beginning. The ego is there to protect you. The problem is we are no longer in the environment where we have creatures that are trying to eat us at every turn. So the ego has been allowed to run rampant over time, and create this record in your mind. And we fed it negativity, because we believed what people told us, that we weren't enough, or we weren't this, or we weren't that, or whatever it is that you keep playing in your head that says that you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that, whatever it is. That's the ego, trying to protect you. Like if you get hurt in a relationship, the ego is going to come in and say, see, I told you shouldn't have been in that relationship. And then it's going to try to solidify your thinking negatively. And so you really have to do some work here if you want to manifest the dreams and hopes and desires in your life, because you're going to need to really pay attention to what the ego is saying. You're going to have to learn how to change that record. So you do that by healing and coming into a stronger presence of yourself, your authentic self. Because when you are your authentic self, you're not going to put up with that, because you wouldn't put up that with, you wouldn't allow that from a friend. So you shouldn't allow that from your internal voice either. But what we don't understand about manifestation is that we manifest from our subconscious. And if our subconscious is all hijacked by the ego with negative, messages playing all the time, then our subconscious is what we're manifesting from. So we can't ask for abundance, which is on a level 2, and a level 10, and we're manifesting from a level 2. We have to be in alignment with that. And so it takes work to get there. So in surrendering, and telling your ego to go have a seat, and learning how to work with your ego, learning when your ego kicks in and how to derail your ego, distract your ego, change the record or the song that's playing inside your mind. When you do that kind of work, that's when you can truly become a very strong manifester, because you can begin to really align with the things that you want in your life. But again, you gotta do the work. If you want it, you gotta do the work. And when you start to step into your power, and you start to not only think differently but believe differently, then that's when things really start to happen. So I do hope that you will get some insight from this. I do encourage you to watch a video that was on YouTube the other day. It was something about how to make money fast. Watch this before June. And that was really a great video. And it talked about the subconscious and how much the subconscious is really playing into manifestation. And I thought it was really good information. So, please watch that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about your attraction cards. I can set my own standards for financial well-being. Yeah, we are the ones who limit what we can do. We say, oh no, I'm only worth this much, so therefore I can only have a job that maybe I make $80,000. Well, we have to take the lid off of that. Why can't we have infinite abundance? So we really have to change our mindset. We are each responsible for the thoughts we think. Again, paying attention to that, learning how to make those corrections in our thinking, to stop that record from playing, to start to begin to put those practices into place to stop that record from playing. And the more you do that, the more it's going to stop. I would encourage you to watch Mel Robbins. She's great. She's so much fun to watch, and she's really down to earth, and gives you some great tips on how to do this. Achieving success is my natural birthright. You are meant to be successful. You are meant to be abundant. We are all meant to be these things. But unfortunately, through our lifetime, we've been, shaped to think differently. And so now we have to change the record. We have to put on a whole new mindset, and so that we can get the things we desire. Appreciation and gratitude are different vibrational states. Attitude of gratitude and appreciation for things are both a very high vibe. But an attitude of gratitude is really, wanting to start from the basics. You woke up this morning. You got running water. You got a bed to sleep on. If you got to get that basic, get that basic. Start your gratitude list. Because when you're thankful for things, the universe now understands that you are appreciating things. And so therefore it will allow things to come in. But if you don't ever get to that place, then it's going to be hard. And I am developing the skill to direct my thoughts. Again, changing the record that's playing inside your mind, understanding what's playing, and then counteracting it so that whenever it's playing, you immediately take action to counteract it, so that your vibration stays high, so that you come into alignment to receive the things that you're asking for. I do hope that this helps you step into your boo-boo the full energy, Sagittarius. Much love and light, Lady T.